Uh, Hello to everyone. My name is Siddesh. People just call me Sid because it's easier, and I hate people mispronouncing my name. So I'm standing for this rally basically because I wish to become the Publications and Publicity Officer for MAE Club. My introduction, I believe, for PNP is better shown via a portfolio. So everything you're going to see here has been done within the past 6 months, so you can get the most recent access to my skills to see what I can actually do. So, can you go next slide? So in terms of design work, I have been heading MAE Initiative for the past 2 years. There's just some background stuff there. I did try to contact some of the companies and clients that I've been freelancing for as well, but due to the new IP laws and stuff, I'm not able to show those photos. So these are just some of the stuff which have been done. My school actually contacted me, my secondary school contacted me again and asked me to design the house t-shirt all over again because the old design which I had designed had become obsolete. So I just helped them redesign as well, just because it was my secondary school. Next page. Some more in terms of design. I'm a prop builder by nature. That's how I started out in terms of design. So these are some of the props which I've been creating, and I've also been going into 3D printing and stuff like that. So in terms of design, I not only do 2D but also 3D. And when I have some free time, I like to do some sketches as well. I think most of us start out doodling, and then these are just some of my sketches over the past 6 months whenever I have some free time or I cannot sleep. Next. So in terms of photography, these are over the past 3 months, whatever I have done, photos or editing of photos. So this was actually at SG Night Festival in August. So just keep scrolling. Also at Night Festival, this is just outside my window, taken with a phone camera. So yes, even with a phone camera you can do a lot. You don't need a DSLR to do it. Phone camera also. Phone camera, same shot, different time of day. This is the Night Festival again. This is NEP. I was at the DNA bridge over there. This is Shenzhen when I went for a competition. So it's just, I managed to get a nice shot over there. And these next two ones are from Thailand, where I just went hiking for a while. Next. So yes, so these are not singular photographs like all the other ones. These are actually composites which I have designed for people based on photographs I've taken. And they wanted certain designs, so I took certain photographs and put them together just to make the scenes which they needed. Next. So in terms of videography, again, because of IP laws and stuff, I can't really show everything. But what I can say is that I have freelanced for a few different companies, as well as doing videography on my own, as well as video editing and music composition. And in terms of web design, I'm versed in HTML coding, CSS coding, as well as the most common website users nowadays, Wix and Squarespace, because it's easier for clients to edit kind of thing. But this is all based on my own experience kind of thing. Next. Okay, so now I can actually move on to the talk proper. Now that you all have an idea of what I can actually provide in terms of PNP, that's on my skills. But these are just skills that you can actually see. What do I provide in terms of soft skills? Well, number one is that all of these skills that you have seen are not taught in MAE. These are all soft skills that you have to teach yourself, or you need to find YouTube, you need to go Google. And the thing is, PNP is one of the least, I would say, manned subcoms, for the main reason being that these are mostly self-taught skills. So what I provide is a learning exposure, because I have experience in this field for almost 10 years. Because that's how long I've been freelancing within all of these different fields. So that's what I wish to provide to the subcoms, and in general to anyone who wants to learn. There is the learning experience. The second part is also giving back to a school, in a sense that the school is already teaching me some things, and I have made friends within the school. So in that sense, I can also give back to them. Because for me, PNP is the main link to the students. It is us who get to the students and show the information that all the other portfolios do to the students. So if I can just be a bridge, why not? Because that also is helping in a sense, and that also is giving back to the school. So in that sense, the final thing that I can also say is that in terms of what I wish to do, if there's someone more experienced than me, I will more than gladly learn from them as well. But if someone wishes to learn, I will never turn them away and say, no, I don't have time. I would rather say, okay, maybe now is not a good time, come back a bit later. and we can discuss, and I would rather teach them properly. Because I feel if you're going to do something, you might as well do it right. If not, don't do it at all. Yeah, that's it. Any questions for me? Anything? Yes?
How do you plan to support other portfolios?
So in terms of other portfolios, I believe that I will be following a similar, because I managed to talk to the previous PNP heads, I believe my workflow procedure will be quite similar. In terms of dealing with other portfolios, the first thing I will do if I am elected is to talk to the other portfolio heads and to get the confirmed events list first. Because there are certain events that MAE runs every year. For example, Family Day. And what I can do is I can pre-design these things and maybe get some subcom members to pre-design them so that we are not bogged down when doing studies and event design at the same time. Second thing that can be done is also you can pre-design a lot of other things as well. For example, I know for a fact that there's the website. If we plan to update the website, since I know that the website is done on a Wix platform, I can update the website in the background. I don't need to update it with every change. I can make all the changes I want and then update the website in one go. Because I won't get too technical about it, but there are algorithms and stuff based on Google as well, which is what this thing will help with as well. The third thing that can be done in terms of working with other portfolios also is to get the designer that is designing the particular event related items directly in contact with the events person, and me also being there to mediate the conversation, rather than it being a chain flow such that, for example, let's say events has an event, they tell me about the event, I tell my portfolio designs something, it comes back to me, goes to events. Rather than that, I plan to have one designer catering to one event, so that the information is like a triangle, like an area instead of a straight line. If you want to talk mess lah, but yeah, that's how I plan to collaborate with other portfolios as well. Yes?
So what kind of media do you want to use, and why do you think that kind of media is effective?
Okay, so in terms of media, social media from what I have seen is because of the new IP laws and the PDPA laws, which I won't go into too much depth about, there has been certain cutback on social media in terms of not just our club, but also many other businesses as well have seen this cut in terms of number of people using social media. Yes, it is a good platform, and yes, people do use it, but I feel that just advertising that alone is not going to be enough. So I plan to not only use social media, but I also plan to use the mass email and posters as a collaborative whole. Rather than just posting to one place and leaving it there, which may cause certain people to miss it, I plan to try and connect all the different types of media together. For example, I know for a fact that the Instagram profile of MAE Club is not a business profile, which means that it is not connected to a Facebook page. But by just making that connection, anything I post to one gets directly posted to the other. So if one person uses Facebook more because they live, for example, in Singapore where Facebook is more popular, and or Instagram is more popular, they can see that. But if someone, let's say is an international student and they don't have Instagram because it's not popular over there, for example, my friends in Germany, they prefer using Facebook over Instagram because of the fact that Facebook is easier for them. They can easily access anything we show on Instagram on Facebook as well, just because of that one link. But if I'm able to link up all the different sites, that would be the best lah. But obviously this will take time and also some implementation and getting used to before all of this is linked up. Next question.
You mentioned that you evolve your subcoms, right?
Yes.
So, for example, there's ISG.
Mm-hmm.
Then it's in the December holidays, and you will get your subcoms to help to come down and take photographs. What if this subcom does not turn up?
Okay, so in terms of not turning up, the thing is that beforehand itself, I would have asked them whether or not they have plans within December. If they don't turn up, for say, first of all, I will try to contact them because I will more than 98% of the time be on the ground unless I am sick or dead. That's my style of working anyway. So the 99 and 100% is sick and dead. Joking. But the thing is, I will already be there and I can take over their position for a while. Because the thing is, you cannot just assume that they are not going to be there. They may be late because of traffic. I live outside school, so I know how bad it is. And especially in December holidays, when people check out of hall and check back into hall, they may not be in hall, they may be late. So first thing I'll do is I'll try to contact them and call them. In the meanwhile, since I will try to be there, I will handle it. If not, I will get someone else to handle it as well, while I try to contact them. If they are really uncontactable and are not there, that is when I will have to call them to one side and talk to them first. If really cannot talk to them, then it will have to escalate a bit more, which I feel that at that point in time will not happen, because you're talking about ISG or events such that happen in December. Before that, I plan to have bonding sessions and stuff so that we can actually get to know each other. One of my actual suggestions, which I will try to provide because of my learning attitude towards this and teaching attitude, is actually something which I'm going to call a design party, which is basically just where my portfolio shows up. We have certain events to design for. We throw design ideas across to each other. We design something and maybe have a dinner, enjoy. That's the work side of, that's something we can do during the week, just on an evening. Because designing something can be difficult when you're alone, which is one of the most difficult parts of PNP, because you feel alone and left out. But by having this bonding kind of thing, they are more likely to show up. Secondary types of bonding would be more fun ones, where we can just go out, play paintball, go fishing maybe, something like that. So I hope that this bond will get them there. If not, I will have to obviously talk to them, if not take it further as well. But the taking further part, I haven't really thought out how to take it further, because I've never actually experienced this point, because normally the bonding and everything is good.
So you say you will be there for all days of ISG?
More than likely, yes. I have no plans in December as of now.
Every day you'll be there?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. Okay,
but I can't play sports right now because of my ankle, but I will help take the photos if need be.
For you to keep in mind, because usually there's more than one sport going on at a time. So just because you are there doesn't mean that you can be covering two locations.
Of course, for this, from what I understand, from what my predecessors have told me, because is that yes, there are times when PNP doesn't have enough subcommittee members, even if all of them are down here to cover all the sports. In this case, this is where we have to reach out to cross-portfolio. Because as I showed above, even phone photographs can be as good as DSLR photographs. And the thing is, most of our phone cameras nowadays do have that capability if you know the correct settings. So in this case, you can actually, because it's ISG for example, you can ask the sports subcoms who are already down at the place, because the sports subcoms will be supporting certain events as well, right? You can also ask them to take photos, then pass it to us. Because it's not just my PNP running the whole MAE club. You get what I mean? Because we are cross-portfolio thing. So if there can be a question about how I am supporting other portfolios can also support me in this manner. Yes?
So how would you describe your design style? And
my design style?
Yeah,
my design style is...
Which what culture do you take reference from?
What culture? Okay, interesting question. Thank you very much. It's been a long time since I've been asked this. But my design style is, I would say, modern. My personal design style is modern and more filmic, I would say. More cinematographic. However, I am capable of working with different types of design style, and the way I work is I talk to anyone as if I'm talking to a client. What they want and what they tell me what they want, I tell them what I can give them, and we come to a compromise. And after that, I will design up to 2 to 3 different ones from where we will then refine further. That's my design style. As to what culture I take reference from, the problem with taking reference from a culture is that I have lived in too many different countries, so there are too many different inputs to specify one. So I would, since my style is more cinematographic or Hollywood, I would say I take more influence from the Western culture. But I have helped Indian dancers design whole events. I have helped Vietnamese dancers design whole events. I have helped a Thai play, I believe. It was a play purely done in Thai. It was a Thai folk story. The folk story was similar. It was basically how a god and a human fell in love and stuff like that. So I helped design the whole event, the backgrounds, the posters, the publications, everything for that event also. So in that sense, I do a lot of literature review on the type of style I'm going to be doing, and try to look at what has been designed already, and then based on that come up with my own style and try to mesh it together.
Okay, so how will you get your team, right? Given that you have all these experiences, how will you get your team to merge their design style with this? Given that the individual person has individual styles.
I feel that merging design styles is not needed actually, in that sense. Because every individual has certain experiences in life and has certain things which they design with, which is why this question is so interesting to me in the sense when you ask what is your design style. it's actually very difficult to pinpoint an exact style for me because I have so many influences. But to someone, let's say, who has only one influence, maybe they design well in one style. For me, what I will try to do is, if I notice this, I will try to link them up for projects which define their style, while also maybe attaching them and making them work with someone who has a different style so they can learn that. Because I feel within design, adaptability is the main issue. If you can't adapt, designing is becoming difficult nowadays because you need to be able to adapt to different scenarios. So in that sense, I would first let them do what they're comfortable with, but also maybe pair them up if the comfortability level is not there. And of course, I don't mind pairing up with anyone else because if they are comfortable learning from me, I'm more than comfortable to teach. Next question.
I need before I need a proposal and second proposals.
Yes.
Okay. You say about the business profile thing, right? Actually, like we also how we commission our event, right? We post it on Facebook, we post it on Instagram. Then after that, we also send out mass email, put posters. But then there are still a lot of people that don't know about the event. It's like a lot. Like how do you what are some new ways that you are going to publicize events for MAE Club?
Do you mind if I get technical for a bit? I'll ask this question before I answer this question. Do you mind?
I mean, if everybody can understand it.
Does anyone have any objections to me getting technical on this? I see no hands raised. Okay. So, as I was talking, the reason why my presentation cannot include all my images over the past 6 months and whatever is because of the new Personal Data Protection Act and the new laws on intellectual property. So because of this, you may have noticed a few months ago, Instagram, so-called influencers, as they're called within the industry, were posting pictures like this picture. If you can see it, I have been notified that only 1 in 7 people can see this post. Right? So if you have seen this post, you would know. If you haven't, then never mind. The reason for this is because of the new rules. They have changed the way you see posts. Your posts are no longer in chronological order. The reason for this is because the way the algorithm now works is that if your friend sees a post, stops on the post, or reacts to a post, then it will appear on your timeline. If your friend scrolls past it, it won't even appear on your feed. Right? So I'm trying to keep it very, very simple here without getting too technical. So because of this, it has become more difficult. The only way to circumnavigate this for businesses is to offer incentives. So for example, our Instagram page, I believe last I checked, had 512 followers. MAE Club had 512 followers. However, we have big events such as EWG, Family Day, and stuff like this. Now at these places, we do give out goodie bags and stuff, and we do take in matrix cards, right? And normally there are goodies that we give back to them. Now, a common practice nowadays has become you like our Facebook page and our Instagram page, show this to us, and we will then give it to you. Now, the good thing which has happened is that as long as they follow you once, even if they unfollow you, as long as their friend gets a post about it, it kind of appears in their feed as well. Because of the way the new algorithm works. The new algorithm doesn't completely rule out businesses, it just makes it more difficult. So once they follow us, even if they unfollow us, they can still receive messages and posts within something. At least it will appear on their feed somewhere rather than not appearing at all if their friends don't get it. Does that? I know it's a bit complicated, but it's only because I work with different people that I kind of understand it. So because of this, okay, now getting back to my idea. My idea is to use events such as this, where large-scale events where all of MAE comes down, to get them to like our Facebook page and our Instagram page, because those are the pages which are currently set up. And then use this as a basis to try to push more events, along with also doing other stuff. But the other stuff would only have to come in once I can see my whole portfolio together and see what are their strengths and their weaknesses. Because if I just make any promises right now, it's a bit difficult to say. I can talk about these promises right now because I believe that it can be done. As I said in my speech also, if I think I can do it, I will do it to the best. If I don't think I can do it, I would rather let someone who's more experienced do it.
What you mentioned, so you get like on Facebook, follow us on Instagram, but that's what we have been doing all this while.
Yes, but there has been no incentive added to it kind of thing. So for example, I was talking with someone, and this I can't remember exactly who, and they said they managed to get Grab codes at one point. So if they like both our Instagram page and our Facebook page, the way to keep them liking the thing would be to release incentives. Maybe let's say on a bi-weekly basis, you release maybe a Grab code which they can use. A certain number of people can use that Grab code. But this would obviously come into contact with the bizman, who I feel that would have to work closely with this, because in terms of publicity, it's not just about just publicizing something. You need to know that you have the funds to do it as well. So in that case, I would like to work closely with the bizman as well as events and others to see what sort of incentives suit not just the event, but also what we have money for. To keep them liking us, to keep them, to make sure that they keep following us, so that they get info about the events, they get the perks, but we also get the inflow and they also get the info from us.
So you want to use our Facebook page to publicize, like advertise. Advertise because you want to get sponsors, right? So that means you are doing advertising for them on MAE Club's Facebook page. Not about our events, but like let's not talk about Grab, because I don't think it's easy to get Grab codes now. So if you need a sponsor, they say you post my product and then I'll give you. Do you think that it actually benefits students? Because all this while we've been doing during PWG is you like our posts, you follow us on Facebook, then you get the bag, which is the incentive itself. Inside the bag, we have promotional items, free stuff and all that. So don't you think that's enough, incentive-wise?
Incentive-wise, yes, but the
proposal
thing,
and second bill.
okay, incentive-wise, I feel that that's not enough. The reason being that nowadays the culture is, okay, let me take this slightly differently. I give you a counter example. You want to buy a product, but you don't necessarily want to get updates from this page. So what do? You go to the page, you follow them, you buy the product, or you get, in this case, your exam welfare pack, then you just hit unfollow, or you hit leave the page, or whatever. It's that simple to do. Unless you have a way to keep them within your page, your posts are not going to reach students. So I feel that at this stage, advertising has become kind of important. I'm not saying it's the main thing. Our main thing will still be posting. But imagine it this way. I turn it around. Bi-weekly, I post stuff about incentive. But maybe every 3 days or something, I post something MAE related. In that sense, yes, the sponsors get their posts. But in that sense, we also get our thing. It's all about balancing the posts. Does that answer your question? Yes.
I have a question. Okay, let's not talk about technical stuff.
Yes, sure.
Let's say that you're elected, and I can feel that you're very promising. Okay, how can you ensure that your skills are being passed down to the next group of people, especially like whatever skills you know with? How do you ensure that the next main com or next com can do as good as you, or if not even better than you? Yeah. And also I have experience with very capable in charge. They tend to do things for you. So I would see that you tend to do things for your subcom. How do you ensure that these kind of things will not be there when you are the head, and how to ensure that your skills are being passed?
In that, to answer your question, I plan only to manage my subcoms and teach them. Because I know where the question is coming from. You don't need to tell me, I know who is sitting right there. That time, I had people who are only photographers. The question where they're coming. So the thing is, I try to pair up people with skills that they know. Right? And I try to teach them new skills. It's not that I don't try to teach them new skills. And they do learn new skills along with me. Obviously, learning curves are different for different people. But I will obviously try to look through my portfolio to find someone who can take over. And obviously also try to convince them to take over. And also pass down my skills. In terms of Wix editing, Wix, not just to me, but to my computer unsavvy grandmother, who is now 89 years old, is an easy enough to use software. That's what I can tell you. As long as you have used a word processor before, Microsoft Word is enough, you can use Wix. That's how simple that software is. And I will try to keep